Welcome to Insights and Inspiration. I'm Andrew Marlowe.
I'm Monica Marlowe, and tonight we're joined by some very special guests. Sorry, I jumped that. First, we're joined by Al from Cypher Unlimited. Hi, Al.
Hey, so yeah, I'm Ancient Albatross from Cypher Unlimited. Run a pretty popular Cypher System / Monty Cook Games Discord, and if you're not a part of it, you should definitely join if you like Cypher System stuff.
Yep. And also then we have James Walls from Living4Crits.
Hi, how y'all doing tonight? I don't have anything like prepped to be. That was so perfect that I'm like, I don't know, like, yeah, I'm James from, or Judge James from either Living4Crits on YouTube or the Glowburn podcast, which is a post-apocalyptic, old-school mutant crawl classics podcast.
Well, that's awesome.
All right, give us just a second because it looks like you guys are frozen here on my end. So let me see if I can undo that.
We can stay frozen.
Well, that's fine. I mean, as long as we can hear you.
Right.
Does it help if I sing "Let It Go"?
If you do, I'm gonna have to sing with you. That would be bad. I don't know.
Where do you want to start in the song?
Well, I don't know. At the beginning, isn't that where you usually start with a song?
No, I usually start from just the "Let It Go."
Oh, well, we can do that. This is what happens when we have to cover for Andrew. We
Why?
Sing.
We spoke way too soon.
I
apparently.
told you not to keep saying how well it was going.
I know.
I mean, it's not like you've never done this before, like a professional or anything. This is what you say, break a leg.
This is what I came here for. That one person who went to that's super funny.
You know, the thing is, this was my night to try out Twitch because I'm so afraid of touching Twitch that I'm stuck over on YouTube live streaming with Hangouts on air. I'm thinking, what is?
My problem is apparently with Skype though.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's Skype's fault.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Do you want me to disconnect and I shouldn't do that, should I?
No, let's not do that yet.
No.
Let's not do that yet.
This is not the time where we turn things off and on again.
Not yet.
I don't know.
So
weird.
Everybody can hear you, so we're good on that front.
You guys can't actually hear them in
Please tell me you can hear them
right?
out there, right?
Can everyone hear us?
That's I think so because people are making fun of us.
Speaking words.
Says because Troy knows you're there. Yeah, they say they hear you fine. So it's like the
Troy
best
said
of
Judge
both...
James, so
yeah, and it's like the best of both worlds because we can hear you, but we don't have to look at you. Oh,
nice.
James and I have gamed together pretty much since Cypher System, since the beginning of Cypher System.
Back in the old days in 2013.
You were there at that first. You were there at that first meet and greet, weren't you? Isn't that where we met?
Yeah, the very
That's what I
first
thought.
Yeah, 2014.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gen Con 2014.
Yes.
That was the very first time.
Yep.
It was a very special what's it called? Gen Con.
That was we were only there one day. We were just there that day, and we went from morning till night. We left at like 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning, and we didn't get home till after midnight. It was yay! There you are.
I don't know what I did, but I made it work.
Oh crap! Oh no!
They're moving.
Got video.
Now your sound's crap.
Oh no!
Oh no! Here we go.
Delay too. So I
no!
I know it's weird. I have the same problem. You're probably better off just to listen to us and watch the
Skype
words.
feed.
Yeah, watch the.
I was so close to my very first let it go, let it go. Can't hold me back anymore.
I forget what froze. Now it unfroze it. It just occurred to me.
It was because James didn't sing yet.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yes. It's
Sorry,
magic.
I should have let him sing sooner.
I know.
Oh boy.
All right. So here we are. Welcome back to Marlowe House Presents Insights and Inspirations. I'm Monica Marlowe.
I'm Andrew Marlowe.
And we are joined tonight by some very special guests for the second time, now that you can actually see them moving. Al is losing his mind. and James, who sings quite lovely.
I'm doing an actual like this is Judge James thing this time, because last time Al came in and gave this really cool, thing. I didn't do it. So yeah, I'm Judge James from Living for Crits and Glowburn. Living for Crits is the YouTube thing, and Glowburn is the podcast thing. And I can't technically do either. I have people to help me with both because I'm old.
Yeah.
So do you still blog?
Man, I did, and then the dark times of post Google Plus happened, and I stopped. Actually, I got a big promotion last year, and the promotion killed my blog. So time and everything, and now that I have time back, it's like, what's the point? All my viewers were from like Google, so that's why I do the weekly. I do the Living for Crits thing is a weekly online live stream on YouTube with my 12-year-old daughter Evie, Judge Evie. The murderer.
I had to quit blogging as well when I took on my new job because it was exhausting. Like learning how to do a new job and all of the I actually write professionally now. My day job requires me to probably do about 10 to sometimes more hours of writing a week. It's like,
no, my stuff was crap. It was just like it was
hilarious.
It was at the end it was just play recaps, and I still do them. I just do them in Google Docs just for the players and their bullet points. I don't have to expand on them. I write them as we play. It's great. So yeah, sorry, I'm going to take over the whole section. Al has to reintroduce himself.
I mean, do I?
Yeah, we're good.
No,
I
was just messing with
Are
everybody.
You sure? Okay.
Oh yeah.
I think he should.
Hey, yo, it's your boy Anton Albatross here.
There we go. Now you can see him. Now you can see him in living color. So the reason we're doing this tonight is because this coming up weekend is May the 4th. And for those of you Star Wars fans, you might actually recognize that as one of our made up holidays like Sweetest Day. And I'm sure there's another made up holiday out there somewhere.
Probably.
Every holiday is made up.
Well, that's not untrue. That's
somebody
not
made
untrue.
them all up.
That
is true.
Absolutely accurate. Like all of the holidays. Every holiday. So this is our holiday. This is the Star Wars Geek Holiday. So we're going to celebrate it with some of our friends and play Cypher because that's what we do.
All day
long. Yes, it is looking like I will be getting up to game at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to play till 9 o'clock at night.
It could very well be the case.
I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. So James, you're the one leading us off in our game.
Yes.
What do you have planned for us at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning?
Well, the best thing about like 9 a.m. when I was a kid in the the 80s was Saturday morning cartoons, and everyone loved Saturday morning cartoons. You get up, you watch whatever you want to watch. It was cute, it was fun, it was wholesome. So for my Star Wars holiday,
we really shouldn't be laughing already.
Spoilers. What?
I said we shouldn't be laughing.
No, we shouldn't be laughing, but it's really hard not to because I know what's coming.
So for my Saturday morning cartoon thing that I'm doing for Star Wars, especially since I have a YouTube channel that has a lot of kid stuff on it, and my daughter is on there. I'm doing the last blood sacrifice on Endor, which is it's kind of like the Ewok adventure meets The Road with Viggo Mortensen. With about 80% less Viggo Mortensen and 500% more like collapsing trees, dead Ewoks. It's got sacrifices, cannibalism, space demons, pretty much everything straight out of the Star Wars holiday.
So I won't lie, I actually did not finish watching The Road because it was too dark for me.
Road is bleak and horrible. I can't,
it is.
And I'm someone who's read it's like On the Beach like 7 times, which is post-apocalyptic nuclear war book where everyone dies in the end. But The Road was worse. But
The Road is rough. It is rough.
So Winterborn wants to know seriously how the Ewoks are not pissed. Well, they are.
Yeah, they're pissed.
That's pretty much the premise. They are.
Yeah, so the characters in the game are going to be performing the blood sacrifice. And I'm going to have hopefully some mechanics for cannibalism by then. I'm working on that. And
I think that's called eating, dude.
Yeah, but I think what I'm going to do is have it the only way you can do a a rest and get back, points to your stat pools is by consuming someone else.
So I have something I was going to save, but now I'm going to ask you about it because you bring it up. So I was thinking that my character, oops, I get too close to the camera and it fuzzes out. I was thinking about playing like a veteran of the Battle of Endor and then having Stormtrooper jerky. Is that acceptable? Is that an acceptable way to
do whatever you want?
I was going to offer it around, at the first break, just because it was. Because I was just like, think about how many thousands of Ewoks that battle will feed, since now we know that Stormtroopers aren't droids.
It's been like 3 years though, so I mean, like, there's a lot.
Jerky lasts a long time, man.
It does, but the roving bands of Ewok cannibals, that are like, patrolling the on their ATSTs or whatever, trying to eat other Ewoks. I mean, they're gonna want your jerky.
Okay, well, it's on. I guess maybe I'll take. the cook. I'll take cooking as my skill for the. I was looking at playing an explorer because they're skill monkeys, and no pun intended there, because Ewoks aren't monkeys.
Unfortunately, cuts the choice meats is not a focus.
That is not true. It can be whatever I want.
But maybe it could. Maybe in when they do the Cypher System 2.0 when that comes out, maybe it'll be in there.
We'll mention that the next time we talk to our friends from Cypher, from Monty Cook Games.
You guys need to include this, maybe not in the core, but in the next book after that.
Yeah, maybe that could be in the next expansion in the Kickstarter.
But they are doing a book about horror.
Oh, we just talked to Sean about that. I feel like maybe we should mention this to him. Maybe Sean will catch us on the repeat. So our Saturday morning tribute is going to be not appropriate for anybody under the age of 18.
That's not true. I think more kids need to be exposed to Ewok cannibalism. It's good for them. I mean, it can't be any worse than episode 2.
So some people have actually mentioned that they want to watch this because of some technical difficulties on the part of our friends. We had hoped to actually just share one another's streams, but it looks like we're actually going to host most of the games here at Marlowe House and then share out the recordings afterwards. So
we will post an exact schedule of where you can find what as soon as we have all that nailed down. So that'll probably be sometime tomorrow. We'll have all that nailed down.
Friday about 11:45 once we get done gaming.
Really?
Okay, we could do it by noon.
Really?
So that's been one of the problems that we've faced, is that trying to make sure that we have time between games to do things, especially since I'm going to have to game for 12 hours straight. I mean, like, that's a real suffer for me. I know. I'm going to need coffee. You guys can grub me food or hub me food. I mean, I'm not going to turn anything down. I may bring the whole bar down. It will be a lot of fun by the time I get to the murder droid.
Yeah, that Ewok game definitely sounds like a lot of fun. It's a shame that I'm going to be working most of the day, and I'll probably have to catch the recording later. But
I was going to say, you're going to probably be asleep. It's like at 9 o'clock in the morning. Won't that be like 6 a.m. your time?
Yeah, I will.
You can get up and watch us.
Watch it before work. Go to work super tired.
So you wake up, get your breakfast cereal, sit down in front of your computer just like it was Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Or eat a raw steak at the same time for the same experience.
That's a good idea. Shish kebabs.
It's on a fork.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get sushi for the morning.
Do you? Whatever. I'm.
Coffee.
You do you.
Coffee, bacon, and Ewok murder faces. Yep, that's pretty much what we're planning.
Yeah.
That's our goal for that week. That first slot.
Pretty good morning.
So that's gonna run roughly from 9 to 11:30 ish.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, around 12:30 we don't have Dean, and Dean is planning to run a midday game, but none of us know anything about it. But it'll be involving Star Wars, and I'm somehow going to be one of the players.
He gave us a title, but
I forget what the title was. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and offer this up, since most of the people who are in our feed right now are friends who have expressed interest. I know that Dean is short a couple of players. If you can get yourself to Skype and you are available from about 12:30 Eastern to about 3:30, 4 o'clock Eastern time on Saturday, hit me up on Facebook, or you can email us at marlowhousegames@gmail.com. You can leave a comment here in Twitch, but it'll be kind of hard to catch that. So definitely contact us outside of
outside
of this stream, and we will put you in contact, and we'll see what we can do.
We'll see how many seats are still available, and it'll be on a first come first serve kind of thing.
Right, but I know that Dean mentioned that he wasn't sure he was going to have all the players he wanted to have, so this could be your chance to play with us live.
And Dean is definitely a top-notch GM. If you've never seen his stuff, he's amazing. Like, I'm always amazed by the stuff when I'm in his games or whatever, we're playing GM roulette or whatever have you. Just seeing the way he takes things, like he's spot on, great GM. So
the first time I really truly met Dean, you kind of meet people in passing at Gen Con and that, but last year we ran the Star Wars big event, the Cypher.
It's not really Star Wars.
No, it wasn't Star Wars. It was
the Attack of Singularity.
Star Wars.
Star
Wars.
Oh shoot!
Space fights.
Poor James is gone again. Yeah, the space fights that felt suspiciously a lot like Lucas film creation. But Dean was one of the.
Shoot!
Did you lose everybody?
No,
okay.
But it.
All right, I'm going to keep talking then.
Keep talking. I'm trying to fix this.
Keep talking. We're just going to keep going. So Dean had some ideas, and he shared at the before the game prep, and then his energy at the actual event was very, very amusing. He was a lot of fun to game like with and against and all these things. And at one point, his table and my table got together, and I couldn't believe when I sat down. He's like, so they were really killing all the guys that we had already set up as the villains. So I just added these enormous monsters on top of it, and so now they're fighting like kaiju and and Jaeger, Jaeger tech and stuff like that. I was just like, okay. So
why is it not including both of them? It
I don't
dropped
know.
it.
It doesn't want me. It's fine. I get it.
Are you gonna sing "You Don't Want Me Anymore"?
I don't know that song. What song is that? What's that from?
It's an older song from like the 80s. I only remember the title when you said "You Don't Want Me Anymore." For the life of me, I can't think of it. I'm sure somebody will find it for us and post it.
Don't you want me,
yeah,
baby?
That's it.
Don't you want me?
Oh. I don't want to be too loud with that part.
Come on.
This
technology is killing me
This
tonight.
is the best live show ever. At this point, after Dean's game, it would be Marlowe House's turn to run, but since Andrew's running that game, and I have played the adventure several times, but it has been like 10 years.
It's like once. You've played it like once.
Yeah, I don't remember what it is, and I just don't have any clue. So we're going to play Star Wars there too. Actually, that game, for those of you who know us and have known us for a while, we have some old friends coming back. We have two people that we have not gamed with any regularity since we were vampire LARPers. So we have two friends that you have not actually seen us game with, and we're very excited. And maybe eventually you get to see James again.
I'm working on it.
I know.
I don't know what it did.
And then
it's really making me mad though.
And then when our game wraps up about 8:30, 9 o'clock, we're gonna play. Al is going to play in Anthony's game.
Yep. So Anthony, or Spigs18, if you know him on Discord from the Cypher Unlimited Discord, He's a co-creator with me. He's running cleanup in Sector 57, I think it's called. It's definitely on the lighter side of things. The premise of the game is the players play as mundane workers on the Death Star the day the Death Star gets attacked by the rebels. So the players play as like barbers or translation droids or whatever have you, and then we have to deal with all the nonsense going on as the Death Star is being attacked. I played it once. It was quite fun. It's definitely an amazing story. So definitely be sure to come check it out. It's a lot of laughs, and also radar technicians, any sort of mundane job you could think that's on the Death Star, you can play as that character.
So are you going to convince Eddie Izzard to game with you? Because that would be awesome.
Eddie Izzard, that
he's a he's a comedian who does a lot.
I know of him. But...
Right. One of his shows he does this long like the other people on the Death Star, and Darth Vader's like gets angry at the cook.
Yeah, he goes to they go to the cantina.
Yeah, he goes to the cantina. Did we lose James altogether?
No, I mean, I still see him.
Oh, okay.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
He's still there.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out why it won't let him.
But yeah, it should be a very fun time. That game will run between like 9 p.m. to like probably like 12:31, depending on how players are doing, what they're doing. But it's definitely action-packed and full of comedy. You can only imagine what these mundane workers get into when all that stuff is going down.
We're sending you to HR.
We did have an HR rep in our
for a disciplinary action.
I think the four players we had in our last game I was a translation droid. We had a barber, Wookiee barber. We had the HR/accountant guy, just like dealt with supplies, and I forget who our fourth person was. But it was a super fun game. I'm excited to play it again.
That sounds
just to see what else happens.
Awesome. That sounds...
I know that a couple years back, I know I'm on like a Cypher thing here, but a few years back I wrote a blog where I was I know I'm just gonna go off kilter here. I wrote a blog article a couple years back for a Dungeon Crawl Classics occupation list, where it was all stormtrooper occupations. So the idea being that all the characters stormtroopers, and I don't know, some of the occupations were fun. Like I had a down and out sabacc player, escaped hut slave, exhaust port scrubber, exiled senator's brat, HoloNet blogger, Hoth snow cataloger. So I have 100. I mean, if you ever want any occupations you can have for any campaign, if you want to have a Minoc milker, I mean,
so like the blue milk thing, that's a thing, huh?
That wasn't when I wrote this way back in 2015. So that was before any of the truth of the blue milk hit.
Oh, yes.
Again.
So now that we've seen an episode, we're an episode ahead in do you either of you, we're not talking about this past week's Game of Thrones, but have either of you watched Game of Thrones?
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I have not read it, so
okay.
I don't care about spoilers.
Well, we're not going to spoil it for the audience.
We're not going to spoil it. No, I was just that blue milk comes up. There's a meme out there because of something that happened in the movie or in the TV show about someone drinking milk, and
that was the mashup. 2 episodes ago. That was 2 episodes ago.
Oh, it was 2 episodes ago now. But there was a mashup between Game of Thrones and blue milk, and it was rather
There was
hilarious.
no blue milk in Sunday's episode. There was a lot of red wine in my house because we were heavily drinking trying to get through that episode, but no blue milk.
That was a very stressful episode. Like, it was just, I don't know.
I'm not saying spoilers.
No.
Troy's saying spoilers. No, it was stressful, and I was drinking. So it's pretty much any night of the week in my house.
That seems like So I have a bottle of there was a beer that was made called Mother of
Dragon's
Dragon.
Milk, right?
Well, Dragon's Milk is a regularly available
Oh,
beer, but there is I forget which brewery it is. They came out with a beer called Mother of Dragons, which is made, in honor to Daenerys. So I have one of those, and it's almost the size of a bottle of wine. But then I also found the Game of Thrones wine last year, and so I'm planning to drink those in the appropriate, the last like couple of episodes of the because I'm probably gonna need it.
well, you know that bottle of wine you get that's like the Woodbridge bottle that's for a whole party of people, not for 2 people?
Yeah.
Me and Jen drank that.
You're people that I aspire to be like.
Yeah, my liver's not saying the same right now.
Yeah. When you start having pain in your upper right quadrant, man, you need to cut it off. I mean, that's that's not good.
About 9:45 last Sunday.
I never have to deal with that. I'm not a drinker, and I don't have stress from fictional deaths.
There you go. No, mine usually is just translated poorly stress from, real life work, and then, then I get to.
Oh, no, I feel that. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, I don't have any sources of stress coming from entertainment. If that makes sense.
I won't lie. Now that we've been running this podcast and like gaming 2 or 3 times a week, and just hanging out and stuff like that, I feel like my stress has been much better because it's a lot. I get to have fun more often, and I don't have time, and I don't get the opportunity to read because I just don't engage with written word the same way I used to. I think it's because as a nurse, you have to have the ability to like think about 16 things at the same time and kind of keep them all on your plate and know where they are and where you have to be in that list of stuff. So I have a really hard time sitting down and just doing one thing at a time. Like I can't. I can't. I have tried. I probably have read in the 13 years I've been a nurse, I've probably read a book a year on average. Now, I do very well reading nonfiction, but I just really can't get into fiction anymore because it's not fast enough for me.
I can't either. So I said earlier I was on the Glowburn podcast, and that's with Mark Plord, and Forrest Gary was one of our fellow co-hosts. He had to drop out of the show for some stuff going on in his life. But we did a book report on a book called Hero's Journey, which is a post-apocalyptic novel. It's in Canada. There's a talking bear. I mean, there's mutant moose people ride. It literally is like Canada in a post-apocalypse, right? So we're supposed to read this book, Hero's Journey, and I couldn't do it. I read like 30 pages of a 250-page book, and
Wow.
I felt bad. And we got to the episode we were going to film it. I'm like, yeah, I didn't do this. I didn't do the book report. I didn't do it. Sorry. I know I'm on the podcast. I know that's my whole job is to do this, but I didn't do it. I went into all the reasons why, but I'm about where you're at. A book has like 25 pages to hook me, and if it doesn't, I put it down and I move on. Comic books I'm okay with, and nonfiction is fine. I'm trying to get through all 800 and some odd pages of Invisible Sun right now, which is.
I've been watching your posts about that.
That is challenging. That is like trying to read something that is not something I would typically learn.
I actually want to run it. That's why we backed it. But then it showed up when I started a new job, and my choices were learn the new job or learn a new game.
Pretty obvious.
I think you made the obvious and correct choice.
Someone asked a while ago about a game I used to play, and I'm like, no, man, I burned right through that and had to clear that memory space out when I took pharmaceutical. When I took my pharmacy class in nursing school, that stuff's all gone. I don't remember any of that. I mean, I can barely calculate THACO anymore. So you have to choose.
I finished the key. I'm on to, I think, the gate, whatever the next book is of the 4 books in there in Invisible Sun. So there's 2 more I have to worry about. And then whether or not I read, like, teratology or that stuff, I don't know. We'll see.
That's
I'm
cool.
here barely reading books. Like, I have a hard time reading stuff. So like, even like Cypher System, the game I play the most, like you all know, we play Cypher. Like the rules are so light that you hardly even need to look at the book. Like, so I learned Cypher by playing with Anthony, and then every now and then I'll look at the book if I have a question. So I'm so bad at reading. It's really bad.
Well,
It's so bad.
The best part about Cypher, though, is as long as you have the very basic core rules, anything else you can just make up on your own. I mean, like, I don't mean
That's
that
why I
like,
love it.
yeah, I mean, I don't mean that like, forget what the rules say. I just mean that if it's really important and you're in the middle of something in the game, you don't have to stop and search through the whole book to figure out where it is that your information's at. You just be like, this is how we're going to play because the location physics dictates that this is what happens. Oh my gosh, maybe
Cross fingers.
okay, I got them crossed. As it's like now 9:35, and
We're almost done.
we're almost done, and you haven't participated at all.
I've
I
participated
know.
a little.
No, I know.
He's done a lot of stuff.
He's done a lot of stuff. You would be surprised. He's played Tetris like 16 times here, and
I was
know
playing
he's playing
Galaga.
Galaga.
I love Tetris. I'm not gonna lie. Have you
Yeah.
guys played Tetris 99? That game is amazing.
I remember I remember playing Pong because we had Pong when it first came out. I remember when I got my first. I remember when we got our first NES, when we first got our first Atari. That was a big. Our kids found. My parents still have one of our Nintendos over at their house, and they're like, hey, this like Street Fighter game's pretty cool. And they were playing what's the other one with what is the other one? Street Fighter. So now they walk around doing like finishing moves and screaming, come here. Just
Mortal Kombat.
yeah, Mortal
Mortal
Kombat,
Kombat, yeah.
that's it, not Street Fighter. I'm sorry. Get over here. Yeah, so that's
Oh, look, it's me. I'm bouncing.
well, at least you're here. I mean,
Yeah.
you did say you're pretty energetic tonight. Oh man. Well, maybe we'll get this all hammered out before Saturday when we're going to all be on time on the screen together.
Well, on Saturday it'll be a little different.
Okay. How so?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
We'll
Good enough.
we have 3 days to figure it out. 4 days to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah. Well, maybe
So-
maybe the computer will like fix itself like it did after Nick. Okay, so I haven't been keeping up with chat, so let me go see what chat's saying.
Shoot it.
But
Hold on a second, guys.
Oh no, we're playing the opening credits again. In case you
Oh,
missed
no.
that. In case you missed that the first 3 times.
Cause you know,
So Winterborn says it's Omegon who did the beer. That's right.
which means they can hear it. So
Thank you. Oh, can they hear us?
no, I haven't the audio for that.
Oh.
I don't know what I did. It's fixed.
Okay, so Winterborn said it was Omegong, and he or she is absolutely correct because I totally forgot they're the one who do all the special beers. They do some really nice beers too. And then Terry says, well, regardless of the game, you should never stop searching for a rule. Granted, some games are better if you letting you on the fly, like Cypher, Core, and Fate. Yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna be possible with Invisible Sun, but here's hoping. Because
I've heard it's very similar to the Cypher rulings stuff, but I actually haven't read it myself.
Who told you that? Where was this person that told you this?
I've heard
I want to meet them.
the Cypher.
No, it's Cypher adjacent, but it does not appear. Having cracked open my box, it's a scary box.
There is not. It is as Cypher adjacent as to say that, I don't know, basic D&D is to 4th edition D&D. So it's.
I was thinking
And
basic. The old red box to like 15th level playing advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I'm not smacking it. I'm just saying it's complex. It's there's a lot going on. You have that Sooth deck thing going on. So like every action, every round, you're flipping a card that says what house, what family of the card is in play, what son is in play, based on who is what at the table. Different things are happening in every round. The players better know what the heck there is going on with their character. They can't. You can't have 4 noobs show up and so I'll walk through that game. It's intense, which is not usually what I play. Again, I play games that it's like real fast and everyone's at the table, we're moving, and that's that.
I think it's one of those ones that once you start playing it, it'll get clearer and it'll be a lot easier. But
the focus is really on the character development, and that's part of like how you get more deeply involved in thinking about what your character is doing and thinking and being.
I kind of want to dig into it and see what I can pillage for other things.
Well, by all means, it's right over there.
I just haven't gotten around to
that
it. That
30-pound box right over there.
I know.
Well, and they keep sending me more.
Which is fine. Don't stop sending us more Monty Cook games.
Well, we did back to Kickstarter. They're not going to stop sending it to us. But so we got the box, and then they sent us the players, the Visley kit, which is like a player's thing, and it's a box, and it and then they sent me a couple of books that were standalone, and that's fine. And then we got another box. At first, when I opened it up, I was like, "Did I get another Visley kit?" Like, no. What is this? Book M. Book M is a box.
Yeah, it's
mistitled.
Well, it's like
it's a sleeve. It's a sleeve.
Oh yeah, you have yours.
Yeah, the rest of the books just go in it, and then the next book goes in it.
Yeah.
And it has like placeholders. It's a box because there's cards in there. Wait, my bloody squirrel here. Hold on a second.
He's gonna game with us on Saturday, right?
Yeah, this is my bloody. That's the.
Oh my god.
That's unlucky squirrel.
Did your kids make that for you for Father's Day?
No, I used to play a miniatures game called Fairy Meat, which is a 1-to-1 scale miniatures game about cannibal fairies, and that was a tank.
So is that where you got the idea for the cannibal Ewoks? This is just a carryover from an earlier game.
No, that's just what's going on in my head 24/7.
Okay.
Cannibalism.
Well, you know,
it could be worse.
To be fair, it's not like George Lucas did not set the groundwork for cannibal Ewoks. They were going to eat all of the people in that movie.
But that's not cannibalism. Ewoks and humans are different species. That's like us eating cows.
That is true.
I mean, it is like it would be like us eating cows.
Technically, I suppose, but I mean, you know.
What do they call it? Long pork, or what is it?
Yeah, long pork is when people eat people. But if aliens eat people, then it's called How to Serve Humans.
Oh boy.
But or it's Soylent Green. I mean, it just depends on which kind of people you want. I'm sorry.
I have a
I'm so excited.
tidbit I could throw in. But I don't know if it's too much or too.
So I can see that we're going to be getting. We're
Andrew's
what are we getting?
I don't know.
All the audience share is going to be going to the very early show, because yeah.
Yes, but I'm gonna have to
very
ask.
Exciting.
Yeah. No, that if you're gonna watch us, then if you're gonna watch us, please watch us all the way through, because I'm going to need help staying awake.
or you know, stop in and poke around every so often, because we'll apparently be there all day long.
So Michael wants to let me know that I'll be getting a visit from the ethics committee. Thanks, Michael. Thank you.
So some guy with a clipboard
the nursing board ethics committee shows up. They're like, so we found these videos.
You're endorsing cannibalism? Is that what we're seeing online here?
No.
no. But in chat they're fighting over the Rift system.
I see that.
Wait,
there's that Rift's Kickstarter right now, and I love Savage Worlds, but I still can't. I did some time in Rifts in like the 90s. I'm not going back.
Like you did a dime in the Rifts?
Yeah.
I did my time.
Oh.
I didn't do a dime. If I did a dime in Rifts, I may have enjoyed it. If I had like a dime going on.
Oh, I think you're misinterpreting.
Yeah, no, a nickel, a dime, 5 years, 10 years.
Whatever.
Okay.
What was it, dime bag? I don't know.
That would be definitely us. That definitely would be better.
That's a totally different dime.
So way back while the screen was jumping around.
I'm such a crime junkie, you know. So I'm always doing all the illegal things, right?
So Terry says that nothing could be as bad as Rifts. Back in the 90s, they came out with a published hard copy index so that you would know which book had the races, classes, items, and ruling stats. And then they actually had to print a second one to add to it.
Now,
and then everybody jumped on Rifts, and they're all defending it and fighting over it. And so we're just going to let there be one. There can only be one.
To be fair, it's not just Rifts. It's everything Palladium uses their Palladium system for.
Mm-hmm.
Every last one of those games uses the same system, and they are more often than not mixed and matched in sometimes entertaining and sometimes frightening ways.
Yes.
Not that different from Monty Cook Games.
No.
But
no.
Their game is playable.
Ouch! Man, they're gonna need some salve for that burn. Maybe you should put some cold water on it first.
Now I did my time playing some of the Palladium. I never played Rifts. Well, actually, I think I played Rifts briefly.
Would you block it out?
No, honestly, most of our Palladium was Heroes Unlimited, Ninjas and Super Spies, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles all blended together.
Like you do.
Because that's that.
You were what, 15?
Probably. Or we were playing Robotech,
which is high on my list of next things to do.
It's not.
Not the game, the setting.
Oh.
We only play Cypher here.
Well, only so far.
Only so far.
But yeah.
All the settings for Cypher. I'm a prop for that. I fully believe in stealing settings.
Well, I mean, at this point, it's so much easier. You can just, you want to play something, you want to play a setting, and you don't have the time, energy, or money to get the correct rules and learn them and everything. We're just like, we're going to play this setting with these rules, and that's where we go.
There are a couple of other systems I wouldn't mind giving a shot. I've thought about Savage Worlds, but I haven't picked up a copy of it yet.
Wait for the Adventure Edition to come out.
That's kind of what I'm doing. Although seriously, the price point on the original one is so low.
It is, but the Adventure Edition does some really nice cleanups of it, and that's what I'm using to run my East Texas University game, because I play like 3 games. I play like right now it's like 80% Dungeon Crawl Classics, maybe 10% Savage Worlds, and everything else is in the bucket below that right now. And I'm using Adventure Edition for that, and I really, really enjoy it. I think it's a good system. It really is a nice system, and for mashups and things like that, Savage Worlds does a good job, but so does Cypher. So it really is what's your taste of play. If you like a lot of miniatures and you want to use terrain, then you're leaning towards the Savage World side.
I see. I'm not a miniatures person so much anymore. We've kind of done that, but the more often we do this and we start broadcasting and things, the table layout that we have is almost entirely occupied by electronics to broadcast. So whenever we're running live, it needs to be something that is low miniatures content. So Cypher's like a go-to for that. That said, there are a couple of other games I'd like to give a shot that are also low miniatures. Genesis is high on my list.
Those dice, the Edge of the Empire dice crushed me. Like, I looked at that and it was like, what just happened, and why is there purple? I don't get it.
So that's how I felt when I first got a hold of them. They're a lot more intuitive, especially the Genesis dice over the Star Wars dice. Once they got rid of all the Star Wars logos, the dice got easier to read.
So, people say that. People say it's more intuitive the more you play. I think it's the same person that told Al that that Invisible Sun is adjacent to Cypher System, because I played a lot of it and it's still not intuitive to me.
So one of the things that you guys all fail to realize about Andrew is that he lives and breathes gaming rules, and I will just find him sitting in the living room making up shit, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm making rules to fix this or to change that or to expand on this other thing, and I'm like, are we ever going to play that? He's like, no, this isn't even a game we play. And I'm just like,
probably not.
I'm like, oh,
Now,
okay.
to be fair, some of those were blog posts.
Yeah, so he's writing about stuff we're never going to do.
Right, but I have to write a blog every 2 weeks.
I know.
That's exactly. I ciphered a Starbucks experience as a blog post. There's a whole Cypher system version of here's all the crap you can find Starbucks in Cypher system. I never ran that, so I totally get it, Andrew. Totally get it.
Yeah, I do though. I do live and breathe rule sets, and I like to tweak around and mess with them. Mm-hmm. It's just
we own many systems that we have never played. We will never play. And it's because he's like, well, I heard that they had this really neat mechanic in it, so I want to read it so I can figure it out, so then I can make it work in my game, which is fine because we have some really neat house rules. But to be fair, it's really hard for me to like play Cypher with other people because they don't know that.
I did do that recently because, so I did that with Dungeon World not too long ago. I picked up Dungeon World, partly because I think one of our players may actually try to run it.
Okay.
So, with that in mind, I picked it up. But he was also talking about some of the mechanics in it, and I picked it up. The mechanics are definitely kind of cool. That's a game I'm not overly fond of the presentation of, though. You want to talk about hard to read? It's not laid out well.
Can I respond to Winterborn for a second?
Oh, sure. What did he say?
He said, Fantasy Flight Games dice are a little odd, but it's doable. I just finished a 2-year Star Wars game. The dice got better over the sessions. I'm going to add a little Glowburn snark, because that's where I get into trouble on Glowburn 4, because I go really super snarky.
Not
games
you.
Games don't have a couple sessions with me to get better. Like, the game has to get me in the first session, maybe the second or third. Screw it, I'm out. Like, I don't have... They better pull it off when I show up. If I'm like, wow, like when I played Cypher System the first time, I was like, holy crap, this was so much fun. When I played Savage Worlds the first time, so much fun. DCC, so much fun. Star Wars Edge of the Empire was like, what?
So the first and only time I've ever played.
The same with D&D 5th edition, which that's a whole nother world with me.
But. So
well, let me finish the fantasy.
Okay,
and then because I do want to hear about that because we played it once. Well, hold on. Yes, Mike. So the first and only time I've actually played Genesis, we had one person who had played it kind of one time before, and Andrew was learning how to run it so that he could run it at Gen Con for Fantasy Flight, and he'd never had a class. He never had, but he'd been reading the books, but he'd never actually had people who we could sit down and game with. And I will tell you this: it may have been the people we were gaming with, but it was one of the funnest games I've played in. But we were playing with Steve Helt and one of his friends from Oklahoma,
and Andrew,
and Andrew, our friend from Terre Haute, and then Andrew and myself. And it was a blast. And it was neat because everybody got into the narrative aspect of it. And that was what was nice about the dice was, I figured out pretty quickly, and so did the rest of us, that something was positive, something was negative, how it added up. And then we started just like shooting out, like these good things happen, these bad things happen, and we were like really building the story pretty quick. So I don't know if it was because we were with some very high-end, very motivated gamers to game, because it was only like 2:00 in the morning at Gen Con on Friday night. I mean, we were up to like I think I slept a sum total of like 6 hours that whole weekend. Like that is not even a joke.
Is that a burn that I don't have high-end gamers playing with me?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Well,
that's
where's my wife and daughter? I'm gonna call
I know. I love your wife and daughter. Don't
just get them on camera right now.
They're not high.
You heard what
Monica
just said to you?
Gamers.
Do they know the dice in Genesis?
Well, who did you play Star Wars with?
Yeah, who did you play Star Wars with?
My wife and kids.
But did any of you know it at all before going in?
I love your wife and kids.
No, I'm showing her the video when we're done here.
I love you, Jen.
You are in so much trouble.
I am in a lot of trouble now.
I played with more than just. I played with more than them.
Yeah.
I played with my wife, kids, and like 2 other people. So.
You'd never gamed before?
I was gonna say, I'm pretty certain he's got high end.
I know. I was just well, I mean, but it was they were all game designers. I know they were all game designers. So I mean, we were all in that.
Like, to have me on. This is what happened.
Okay, so we do want to ask you about your 5th ed experience. So, did you really send the books back?
I did.
Okay, what happened?
What?
Yeah, no, he sent them back. I was pretty sure that was not a joke.
I wasn't. I said I was sending him back on April Fool's Day to really throw people off. No, I sent him back.
Well, that was just it. I wasn't certain because it was April Fool's Day.
I was pretty sure you did.
I know, that was the whole idea. I sent him back. Yeah, I hated it.
Really?
So yeah, they have that thing where what's that thing where in an infinite amount of time you have a room full of monkeys on typewriters that write the game. It felt disjointed. I didn't like it. I didn't like reading it. I didn't enjoy reading it. I didn't enjoy running it. I don't know. I tried reading the DMG. I didn't like that. I'm picky. Like books, I really am. And I was like, I got it because Evie had come home and said that her friends were all playing 5th edition. And my daughter is like, I mean, she thinks Dungeon Crawl Classics is a freaking like style of clothing. She's got the hat, the shirt, the hoodie. She lives and breathes it. She runs after hours stuff for Goodman Games. She'll be running events at Gen Con again this year. She might be working the booth. So she and I both. That's our thing.
I'm pretty sure she's a more serious gamer than you are.
That very well may be, but she hasn't run enough games where she hasn't she needs to run more games over like 1st and 2nd level. Like she needs to work on some of her expertise of rules, but it's okay. She's getting there. She's better than I was at 12. That's for damn sure. But I picked it up to teach her.
Better than I was.
So she could teach her friends and we could play together. And I ran a session and we both looked at each other and I was having to drag her along after every video about the game. She was like, this isn't the same. And I had to say finally, you know what? It's not. And if I'm not going to run it, I'm going to send it back. And I sent it back. I didn't like a lot about it actually. So, I don't know. I could go on for way too long and we have here.
That's fine.
No, I was just because you said it. I was pretty sure that you really meant it. Like, we played our first and only 5th ed game at the wedding that we were at a couple weeks ago, and we were invited to play because we were gamers, and they were playing a super jacked up, 20th level, special run and so we went because we'd never played it, and someone made characters for us, which was fine because I didn't have time to figure out how to make a 20th level character.
Heck no.
It was very. I think it was actually very overwhelming because we were playing 20th level characters.
Sure.
I just did. I had a small book. And I was just like, hell.
This is your
we each settled on like 2 tactics, I think, 2 or 3 tactics off the sheet.
Each of us.
It's like, okay, I've got this and this, those stacked together. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing that thing. That is the thing I'm going to keep doing. And then we would, if we were taking an action that was otherwise, we'd, ask them how we would do it, and we'd do it. I will give it this. It ran very smoothly. It ran very fast. I would say it's an improvement over certain elements of 3.5, but it was not something that I found really didn't make me enthusiastic to go play it again.
I never felt like I was playing a 20th level character.
I am enthusiastic to play with those people again.
Yes,
but not necessarily that rule set.
Yeah, I mean, I never really felt like I was playing a 20th level character. Like, the thing about 3.5 that really made you feel like you were playing a high level character was you were dropping 4 and 5 D20s and, and you're rolling damage.
And your numbers are huge.
Oh, yeah. No, it never felt like that. I was just like, this is, I mean, I was like, when we play Pathfinder, one of our players is like a fighter, and he's always rolling like 5 or 6 dice, and he's got them color coded, like, red is his first attack and orange is his second attack. I mean, not like that, but I mean, like, but he like goes through the rainbow, and that's how he knows what order his attack is in. And it's like, I mean, I know it's a lot of math, and that's why some people don't like Pathfinder, but that's what I'm trained to play. And
if I think if people, it's definitely been done a lot for the hobby. It's brought people in and who haven't played the game before, and it's helped with popularity. I totally get it. It's just not an experience for everyone still.
Right.
And for fantasy role playing for me, I've taken on a mantra over the last couple of years of enjoying a game or games where, completing an adventure is a challenge and you may not get through. Whereas it's not like a given. I felt like the characters were very, very powerful at first and second level. They're very powerful in D&D 5th edition. You can max out a character in Cypher system the same way and do lots of extra damage and stuff, but you're draining your pools pretty quickly and you're putting yourself at risk. I don't feel like 5e has that kind of risk. So that, again, not for me.
Yeah.
Right. So it is one of those things where there are different experiences for everybody. And it's a rising tide lifts all boats. So the more people in the hobby, the more the smaller games will start getting attention too eventually.
And some experiences are right and some are wrong.
Right.
Well,
for
everyone's
you.
Like,
for you.
Everyone's like going, no, for everybody.
Well, no. I will agree with that, but it is a personal thing. It's not a concrete factual thing. Some experiences are right and some are wrong, but that's going to vary person to person.
The system is good and the system is wrong.
5e wrong. We heard it here. Done.
From James. James said
James.
That. Judge James said
James
that.
of Glowburn and Living for Crits. And I'm always right, and that's how we roll.
And with that, we'd like to thank you guys for coming and joining us. Don't forget, we will be live streaming right here Saturday morning, starting at about 9 o'clock and going until we just stop.
Well, yeah, and I'm not certain. It may not all be here.
It may not all be here,
we have to
but
work
we will
out all the details. But it looks like we will be starting here.
Right. We're going to start here. We are going to encourage you all to, when we do change hosting sites, should still all be here on Twitch. But if you will follow the the live broadcast so that everybody gets a little bit of Twitch action, because what happens is we will still be co-streaming it, but we'll get the viewers and not the other games. So we'll let you know where you're at and when we're live, and if we're moving, we'll probably try to get a scroll on across the bottom when we're not actually live hosting to let you know where to go. But otherwise, we will see you on Saturday.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. This has been Marlowe House Presents Insights and Inspiration, May the 4th preview. Our special guests tonight have been James Wall and Ancient Albatross Al, who I cannot say his last name now. I'm Monica. Mejias. I'm Monica Marlowe.
And I'm Andrew Marlowe.
Thank you very much and have a great night. May the 4th be with you.